everybody. We are going to touch on breathing, diaphragm breathing, and when we should be breathing when we're lifting. So as a part of your warm-up, whether it's in the specific warm-up from DWL or not, it is always good to do some breathing work before you start lifting. If you are a singer in any capacity, this is going to sound familiar. A lot of us do breathing warm-ups before we sing. This is a very similar idea. We need to make sure that we are breathing from the diaphragm before we start lifting so we can get a full belly breath, and then all the blood is pumping and the oxygen is flowing. So a few good ways to do this is we can start on our backs and get our diaphragm engaged. So if we lay down on our backs and put your hands on your belly, we are first going to take an inhale and we're going to expand the belly outwards. So the diaphragm, if the diaphragm is here in the middle of our belly, when we breathe and push out, the diaphragm actually goes down, pushing the belly out, and then the lungs, the lower part of the lungs, are able to expand. So if the diaphragm's here and we breathe in, we're pushing that diaphragm down so the belly expands, the lungs can get bigger. And then when we exhale, the diaphragm is gonna go up and then push all that air out. So that is what is happening in our diaphragm. So to warm this up, we're gonna breathe in through our nose. The belly is going to expand, the diaphragm is gonna press down. And then as we exhale, think about having a straw in your mouth and you're having to blow all of your air out through that straw. So it's going to be more of an intense exhale as we blow the air out. So you'll breathe in, the belly will expand. And then we're going to exhale like we're blowing through a straw. So when I do that breath, when I'm blowing through the straw, my mouth is quite small and there's a lot of force with that air. There's a lot of energy coming out with that exhale. So if you do a few rounds of that, that's really gonna warm up your diaphragm. Another type is bear breathing. So you're gonna get on all fours and it's gonna be the same idea, but this time we're working against gravity because our back's not on the floor. So you are going to, same thing, we're gonna inhale with the diaphragm. The belly is gonna push out, and then as we exhale, the belly is gonna return in and we're gonna knit together our inner core muscles. So we're gonna breathe in, belly will expand, and then exhale. And again, breathe in. And exhale. Okay, so those are just a few exercises you can do to warm up your diaphragm, get your lungs fully engaged, be able to take full breaths before you start lifting. But now, when do we breathe while we're lifting? So the general rule of thumb is that we are going to breathe in, inhale, when we are eccentrically moving, and exhale when we are concentrically moving. So as a little review, eccentric is when we are lengthening the muscle, when the muscle is in the lengthened position, and concentric is when the muscle is in the shortened position. So if we're using a bicep curl as an example, you would breathe in when the muscle is lengthened, and then we're gonna exhale as we concentrically curl that bicep muscle and shorten it. And then inhale and exhale. Another way to think about it is you are going to exhale when you are lifting the weight. So if we were doing a bench press, we would inhale as we lower it, and then we would exhale as we lift or push that bar away from our chest if we were pressing. So that's kind of how you want to think about your breathing when you're doing it. So for a squat, you would breathe in as you lower and then exhale as you actually lift the weight and you are pushing your body against the weight and against the gravity. There are people, you see them at the gym, who are holding their breath when they're lifting really heavy. That is technically a technique, but for what we do, we're not power lifters. You should pretty much always be breathing. If you can't breathe, and you're lifting so heavy that it's causing you not to be able to breathe, that might be a sign that you need to lighten your weight a little bit. So that's always a good check. If you're not able to breathe, if you're not able to take a full deep breath, then maybe reevaluate your weight, make sure your technique is proper. But no matter what, keep breathing.